Hey everybody, it's Jer. So the title of the video is Steal from the Offering Plate. I want to say steal, and we're not talking about an offering plate. So maybe that is clickbait, but whatever, it works. So steal from the offering plate of life. I, throughout life, have found that one of the best, it's not a secret, but one of the best ways to go about life is to accept offering. Now, it has nothing to do with church, so don't steal from the offering plate at church if you go to church. But it's about accepting offering from people. Now then, that doesn't necessarily mean money. It doesn't necessarily mean things, belongings. More so than any of that, it means accepting the lessons that people have to teach. And accepting people, that's a big thing. So the biggest part of this lesson that I learned came whenever I joined the military. From working with people from all different backgrounds, all different races, all different religions, and learning that every single person has a story to teach, has a lesson to teach. They probably don't realize they're teaching you a lesson, but they're teaching you a lesson. They're teaching you something useful. And that's everybody. Every single person has something that they can teach you, that you can learn from. Maybe, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's something good, like something they're teaching you a better way to live, but maybe the thing that they're doing bad is a lesson. Maybe the thing that they're doing to hurt you or to hurt others and that you're seeing is a lesson. And what I've learned is that there's something you can take and learn from anybody. Everybody has something they can teach you. An experience that I remember was I grew up being taught that Muslims are wrong, and that Islam was wrong, and the Quran was wrong, and everybody who follows this and everybody who believes in Islam and is Muslim is wrong and bad. And excuse me. And I believed that until I started volunteering for a kids group home, a boys group home, which was like basically teenage boys in California, in Butte County. It was a bunch of teenage boys who had done stuff bad, had broken laws or whatever. And they were considered, I guess, rough or not ready to be adopted. And so they were sent to what was like basically what it is, a group home, like a group of boys living with this older couple that like managed this home on this ranch. And they are given so much money to take care of these boys. Well, they also have money to hire like people. I volunteered, but there was a guy who worked there. I don't remember his name. I'm not great with names. but there was a guy that worked there, and he was there like 3 or 4 days a week or something like that. Anyway, he would cook, and because I was there volunteering, he would cook for me, which is like, maybe you think, oh well, it's granted that you're gonna eat while you're there, like you're there volunteering. No, that's not great. Like, that's not something you should take for granted. And cooking is a showing of, I mean, depending on what you're making, but is a showing of love. Like, to take the time to cook. Like, he took time to cook recipes that he knew from his homeland. He was an Indian man, and Muslim, and loving, very loving, and caring, and accepting. And he, like, it sounds ridiculous, but, well, maybe not ridiculous, but there at that group home, it was like a family. Like, we were a family, and me volunteering there, I became a part of that family, and he treated me like family, and with so much respect and love, and I treated him with so much respect and love. And I learned that everything I'd been told about Muslim people and Islam was not truthful. Like, it wasn't correct. And until something I learned because of him is that until you meet a person and you get to know somebody, you can't assume that all in a group of something is bad or hurtful or wrong. And like, I don't, like, that experience is one, but it's been that way ever since I joined the military and got away from home, in Oklahoma, and got out. I have learned that, and I've said this before, people are people. Nobody is, because they worship a different God or believe something different or has a different sexuality or is of a different race, from a different race, or speaks a different language, or numerous other things that you can think of that make somebody different than who you are. That thing that makes them different does not mean less than. And I think a lot of people take anybody who's different and say, oh, well, they're less than because of this thing. They're even more less than because of this thing. And they're even more less than because of this thing. Almost to a point that they put them as if they're like animals. And they're not. There is no one in this world. Let me repeat. There's no one, not a single person in this world who is worth more than you. But let me also say this. There is no one in this entire world, no person, that is less than you. We all have the same value. We all have different lessons to teach. We all have different experiences, different skills, different brains, different thinking, different religions, we're all different. Every one of us is different. But because we're different, we're not more than or less than anybody else. Someone who is from a different country is not our pet. Someone who is a different race is not your pet. And that goes for all races, for all religions, for all ethnicities, for all sexual orientations, for anything that makes anybody different. That thing that makes you different doesn't make you more valuable. That thing that makes you different, which is special. But special shouldn't be confused with more valuable. And I think in this world today, everything, most things seem to divide us. We rush to put people into boxes or jars and other people. Some people like to other people, which is basically saying they're an other. They are someone who isn't like us. They are less than. They are different, so they're less than. And I think that I know it's wrong. I don't think, I know. I know it's wrong. We have got to get to where we accept and love one another. And excuse me. And I'm quiet on that part because it almost feels like it's impossible now. It almost feels impossible. It's not impossible. There's nothing that's impossible. But it feels almost impossible. Because we have divided ourselves up so much. If we just take a step back and realize that, one, we are all people. None of us are better or worse. We are all different. Everybody is different. We're all like a bunch of snowflakes in that we are all very different. Each of us is different. There's none of us that are exactly the same. Not one of us. There's something different about everybody, and that makes us special. Not worth more, but special. Individually special. And we need to get beyond realizing that about ourselves. We should be realizing it about ourselves. But we also need to realize it about others. There's something special about him. There's something special about her. There's something special about them. And then we need to seek out that special thing. The thing that makes us special. Like for me, I consider the fact that I'm a storyteller is special. Not everybody can tell a good story. And that's okay. Not everybody is intended to tell a good story. That's the thing that makes me special. I can get on here and talk and do a video. Not everybody can do that. I know that. But that makes me special. And I realize that and I appreciate that. And I learn more so I can get better at storytelling. I'm always growing. And part of what helps with my storytelling is this fact that back in, oh wow. That was back in, I had just joined the military, gotten out of training. It was 2005. It was like 2000, maybe into 2004, 2005. Is whenever I met the guy from, was he from, I think he's from Pakistan. I believe he was from Pakistan. But he was Islam. He was a Muslim. He believed in Islam. I do know that because we talked about it. But ever since then, and ever since my experience in training and working together with people from, like I said, literally all different backgrounds, that changed my life and then gradually I just became, you have to understand that yes, there's bad out in the world. Yes, there is. There absolutely is bad out in the world. But for the most part, people want good. People want to be good. People want to do good. I want to do good. You probably want to do good. And not just selfishness and not just about me, all about me, but do good for the world, do good for others. And I think whenever you realize that, you have a little bit of a guard up, but you put your guard down a little bit and maybe just a little bit to start to trust other people. I went extreme with it. I don't think everybody should go extreme with it. I joined the military, did that. Once I was done in the military, worked in retail as a manager. One thing led to another. I lived on the streets in New York, met strangers on the streets in New York, and then traveled all over the US in 2014, staying with complete strangers. Nobody does that. Like, that's not I don't want to say a normal thing, but it's not something that a lot of people do. And I just started staying with strangers, meeting and staying with strangers and hearing their stories and learning. And that has helped me to where I can write now. Like, I am able to tell stories from the things I heard, from the things I experienced that are inspired by those things, and put that into, my writing, this novel. Like, it's fiction, but there's some truth to it. Like, the stuff I'm writing about there, it's coming from people and experiences, people I've met and experiences I've had. So it may sound exactly like what happened or whatever, or exactly as those people were, but those people helped bring that with their stories, with experiences I had. So yeah, I challenge you this week. I challenge you to see beyond yourself. I feel like I always challenge that because you need to definitely see beyond yourself and the world you live in, what's immediately around you. See beyond yourself. Know what's special within yourself, but also realize that there's special things in everybody. Everybody has things that are special about them. And to reach out, go beyond your normal, like your normal group of people. If maybe you go to church and that's your people. Okay, go beyond that. Go beyond, if you're Christian, go beyond meeting fellow Christians, and don't meet fellow Christians just to preach to them, to try to get them to become Christian. Like, no, ignore that for right now. Don't do that. Focus more on making a connection and learning from others, whatever it is that they have to teach, because everybody has something to teach. Every single person has something that you can learn from them. I promise it. Take that chance. Put a little trust out there. I'm not saying to travel around the country or around the world staying with people, but I am saying that take from the offering plate, because everybody has something to offer. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about things. Maybe they have things and money to offer, but they also have stories. They have experiences from life and things that are special about them that they can share and teach you. And if we aren't doing this, society doesn't get better. Like, if we aren't stepping out of our comfort zone, meeting people where they're at, learning from one another, seeing beyond skin color, seeing beyond religion, seeing beyond spoken language, seeing beyond sexual orientation or gender. If we aren't seeing beyond that, our society does not ever get better. In fact, it gets much worse. We are divided enough. It's time to come together, and the way that we come together is by stepping out of our comfort zone, meeting people that we're not used to meeting, and realizing there's something special about them, and there is something we can learn from others. So that's my challenge this week. Take from the offering plate. Take from the offering plate of humanity, of people, because they have something to offer, something you can learn. And then don't just leave it there. Teach what you learn. Tell others about what you've learned. Teach. If you know and somebody needs help, teach. I think that otherwise it's just there's no reason in doing it anyway. So take what you learn and then teach it. And it may not even be a lesson, like, I don't know, like a life lesson. Maybe it's just like they're going to teach you how to cook a tamale, which is amazing. I don't know how to cook a tamale. Somebody could teach me how to cook a tamale and I'd be happy. I'd be excited. So, whatever it is, learn from one another, because it is literally the first step to us coming together. If we cannot see beyond ourselves and work to come together, step out of our comfort zone, society is doomed. Society is doomed. I believe that. So that's all I got. I love you all so much, and I will see you very soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye. Mwah.